It has become very clear to me that one of the best watches, the best quality watches, the most affordable watches coming out of China right now are from Baltany. But what really surprised me is they've just released a watch that is solar powered. Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I am talking about watches, and I'm talking about the new release solar powered watch from Baltany. And I truly, really like the watches from Baltany. I've bought a bunch of them for myself. I've had a couple of them sent to me free of charge before, and all of them have surprised me. They've all been great quality, they've all presented well, and I've really liked the design language of the Baltany watches. In fact, when I think about watches coming out of China, I think we all start to think about, well, San Martin is the best watches out of China, especially at the affordable range. I'm going to say right now that I think Baltany might be as good as the San Martin watches, both in quality and also in affordability. But I kind of think I like them even almost a little bit more than San Martin because I like their design language. They are doing sort of different styles of watches, completely different to San Martin, which is probably good. It means that we've got these two great brands from China. They're both relatively affordable to choose from and they're not overlapping too much. Now this solar powered version from Baltany is one of their new releases and they wanted people to be aware of this new release, which is why this one actually got sent out to me by Baltany. Thank you so much to Baltany for sending this one out to me. I am, of course, going to leave some links in the description of this video to the website and to the store on Aliexpress. And that is why you probably would have seen that sponsored icon pop up there, because this watch was sent out to me. And if you then click on one of those links and you decide to buy one of these watches for yourself, it is $148 US. And I think you are getting a lot of watch for your money for $148 US. And now I'm going to flip the camera around and show you why I think that is the case. So here we have the new solar powered Baltany. This one is the Baltany Military Solar Pilot Chrono S6070. This one here is going to be priced at $148 US. And I think for this Baltany watch, which is powered by an Epson VS71 solar movement, I think you're going to be getting a lot of value for that particular price. And for me personally, I think I'm going to like it just because I am a big fan of pilots and I'm a big fan of Baltany, and I think this one is actually going to be something a little bit extra special. And one of the reasons for this is the size of this watch, because the case is 39.1 millimeters, it's 11.9 millimeters thick, it has a lug-to-lug of 46.7 and a lug width of 20 millimeters. And being a non-mechanical watch, we are expecting it to be a little bit lighter, and it is 64.6 grams. And I think those dimensions, but also the price and that solar movement are going to grab people's attention. But I think it is actually the quality and the looks of this one that are going to hold people's attention. Now, because this is a solar powered watch, that means sun needs to get through that dial, but I just can't seem to see through it. It's only in some lights where you can actually start to see through that dial somewhat. So realistically, in most circumstances, it just looks like a matte black dial. It then has two colors printed on, white and that photina. White for the minute, seconds and the numbers, as well as the inner sections of those subdials, as well as the logo and chronograph, and then photina inside the hands and at the main markers. What is a little bit of a surprise is how that then translates into the lume. So it has two different lume colors. The photina section has that more green, and the white sections has more of that BGW9 bluish tinge. Now, another design choice that I do like about this is what they've done with the subdials. Firstly, they're set back into that dial slightly and the surfaces are significantly different. They are almost a sunburst black, so that contrasts nicely with that more muted black dial behind it. So that's nice to have that sort of sunburst and matte black. The hands themselves, as you saw, lots of lume in there, but they are also a polished silver outer. Now, I'm going to make the assumption that this is because this is a solar powered movement, so therefore there needs to be a little solar panel in there behind the dial. But when you look at the date window there at the 3 o'clock, you'll see that it is quite far below the dial. It is set back quite low. My assumption is it's because of that solar movement. Now that dial is covered by a very nice piece of double domed sapphire crystal. It's actually really nice. See, it's like a mild double domed, fits in nicely with that bezel there, but it almost disappears. And let's just double check to make sure it is sapphire. Yes, it is. The entire case, including that solid bezel, is brushed, but we've got a circular brushing on the bezel, a lateral brushing on the tops of the lugs, and a vertical brushing across the sides. The brushing on all Baltanys is always very good. I'm always very impressed. There is certainly nothing I could complain about in regards to the finishing of these watches, and it is relatively smooth. There's no sharp edges whatsoever. The case back is fairly simple. It's a screw down case back with a circular sort of brushing, which gives it a really nice light play when you play with it just like that. One of the biggest surprises to me with this watch, however, is the crown and those two pushers. In particular, the pushers. You can see that they are not signed, but the crown itself is nice and big, easy to hold on to, and is screwed down, allowing for that 100 meters of water resistance. But what you'll see is also those pushers are also screwed down. So you have to unscrew the surrounds to then action the chronograph. You then need to unscrew the surround to the other pusher so that you can stop and reset. That helps with that water resistance, and it also helps so they just don't accidentally knock the chronograph feature. That was a little bit unexpected to me. I thought that just might be a visual effect, not actually a functional element to the watch. It also somewhat surprises me on a relatively affordable watch that the strap that it comes on is proper full leather. This is one of those straps that you can just feel that it is leather, and it smells like leather. Nice dark brown, nice Baltany inscribed, and well put together buckle and tang too. A really nice overall package of a watch that's relatively affordable, looks great, is finished well, and all the individual parts that come with it are done really well, and it comes across like a really well-made watch. And partially because of that strap, I find that this watch is super comfortable on wrist, but it also has, I think, a lot to do with the dimensions of this watch. They really suit my 17 centimeter wrist, or about 6 3/4. And I think the style of watch is also absolutely brilliant. And the great thing about a solar powered watch is that you don't need to worry about changing batteries. The movement inside this, I believe, when it's fully charged, lasts for 6 months. So you're really probably not going to have to really charge it up or specifically sit it in the sun, just you have to make sure that it does get some sunlight throughout the year. So normally at this point in the review, I say, what do I like about this watch? What don't I like about it? And what would I change? But when I was writing this list, I could not think of anything to put on it that I don't like or that I would change. Now, I don't want to say that this is a perfect watch or that it is the best watch on the market. I don't think it is, but I can't think of anything to put on the dislike or change list. They've sort of ticked all the boxes. It's really well made, it's affordable, it has a movement that is going to last for a very long time. The overall finish, fit and brushing and all the elements of the watch itself is done very well. The loom is nice. The strap, which is something that I normally complain about, is actually very nice. Even the buckle and tang are good. So what am I going to complain about? Well, I'm going to complain about the fact that I can't complain about anything. Yes, okay, Baltany, very impressive. They've done a watch that I think is going to sell very well, and I think it's going to sell very well for very good reasons. This is a good watch. Baltany, you're making some brilliant watches. Keep it up. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this company. There's a couple that are already on my wish list that I'm going to pay for myself because I really want to own them. So keep your eye out for videos more about Baltany from me and possibly a couple of others just like this.